What up? 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 Oh, it's fucking Friday. It has been a hell of a week. What's going on, everybody? Oh man. This I gotta do something different about this YouTube setup. I keep getting these keyframe frequency error things. Anyway, let me know if it looks good, sounds good, all that fun stuff. It's kind of dark in here. Let's see if we can turn some lights up. What do you think, guys? Am I too dark? What is happening? Why is my front door bell going off? Okay. What is happening there? Somebody at my door. No. Somebody drove by. What up? Oh shit. Yeah, sorry. Too many things at once. Fucking too many squirrels. Where's the thing? I'm trying to make it brighter in here. I'm too dark. Does it look dark to you? It looks dark to me. I swear, it's like I'd never done this before. But I swear I've done this a time or two. There we go. That's much more better. Let's go back to the... That ain't right. That ain't right. Trying to get my Hive Mapper freaking data uploading. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. That was from like the last couple days. 1,400, well, about 2,000 or 2,500-ish images. And it... Hive Mapper. Mixed feelings about Hive Mapper. I just got done watching Tech Hustler's video about DPIN fatigue. DPIN fatigue. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it with crypto, with freaking technology, all of it. I'm 100% on board with what he's saying. Oh, that's not right. Let's say hi to the folks. What do we got? 15 people in here and 9 likes. Guys, smash that like button and retweet. Tweets the tweetles. We're going to talk about tech today. We'll talk a little bit about crypto, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a bit down on the crypto side. So I want to talk about tech. I want to talk about home labs. I want to talk about what a freaking home lab is and what makes a good home lab. If that's something you're interested in, definitely stick around. Let's do this. Nick the Phantom first. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in. Steven Cicero, Frogman Fiddler, Dan Bulmer, Aragorn Strider. Aragorn, we had no 2G Tech this week, so I'm picking up his slack. We got Bell Miner in here, Chuck Danger, and Retro Mike. What's going on, buddy? Let's see. Aragorn says, I just got my upgrade to 4 gig fiber. Time to toss some salad. That's wildly inappropriate. That is absolutely inappropriate, my man. I'm on Top Chat also. It would help if I was on live chat. Retro Mike says, what up? I just got home from picking up a pallet of 45 computers. I've lost my mind. What are you doing with 45 computers, Mike? What are you doing with a pallet of computers? I want to know. And what kind of computers are they? You might want 1 or 7. Life fatigue? Steven Cicero, I feel you, man. I feel you. Gosh, what are we doing? What are we looking at? $113,000 Bitcoin today. Oh no. That's funny. Like, we were talking about that today at work, and one of the solution architects was like, how do you feel about Bitcoin being down so much from where it was? And I'm like, what are you freaking talking about? And I got one of these little crypto tickers over here, and I'm like, dude, it's $113,000. How do you consider that down? That is not down. And you know, we had a little back and forth. I'm like, dude, zoom out, man. Anyway, it was a cool conversation that we were talking. Like, he's like, oh, it's so down. I'm like, it's not fucking down. Yeah, so ETH is $3,500. That's not down either. I mean, I don't have any Ethereum, so I don't really give a shit. But what was the all-time high? It was like, all-time high was 48.91. Okay, so we're still a ways off from the all-time high there. XRP is number 3. Man, That is crazy to believe. It's got a not far off from number 2 either. Just a 2x from here. Tether BNB Solana. Come on, $400 Solana. I need you. $600 would be even better. Bacon, eggs, and hash. What's up, buddy? Piranha cards. Everything else you can't zoom out though. You can zoom out, but it just looks worse and worse on everything else. That's right. Dogecoin in the top 10. That's nice to see. Cardano, and Tron, and Hyperliquid again. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So I tried to be prepared today, but obviously wasn't as prepared as I thought I would be, or hoped I would be, or thought I was. So let me see if we can do a virtual whiteboard session, because I want to play with, like, oh, do I have to sign up for that? No, that's not. I want simple online whiteboard with no sign in. Sure, create whiteboard. Boom. Look at that. Oh, you can't look at that because I'm not sharing. Look at that. Made us a nice little whiteboard. You didn't even have to log in or nothing. 306 Miner, welcome. You guys smash the like. Retweet the tweets. Let's get some more people in here. We've got 23 viewers, 11 likes. Come on, guys, smash it up. Oh, it is live. Okay. So, where's my notes? The other day, there were 6 videos from YouTubers about salad. Wondering when that will crash. I'm not on the hype train. I'm not on the vast or the salad AI hype train. To each their own. You know, if you do it right, those can be really lucrative for you. They can be very profitable. You definitely got to invest a lot up front to make them profitable, like 4090s, 5090s, higher end cards. And I don't have the appetite for that right now. I'd rather not spend my money for my investments. That's just me. To each their own. Is this the new Windows Ink Space whiteboard? No, actually, it was just some random freaking. I just did a Google and said free whiteboard, and this was one of the top ones. So let's see. We'll go like that. Oh. We'll do red. How's that look? It looks good. Excellent. That's what we needed. AI, all you can eat. Yeah. Hey, I can't fault anybody for getting on that train, because I liked it. I enjoyed it while I was doing it. I was big into Vast for a while there, but I was pretty much breaking even, and I got paid out in PayPal. So it was like, it wasn't for me. If Chlor was a big thing when I was doing this, or when I was doing the AI compute, I would have put it on Chlor to get paid in Chlor. Again, that's just me. To each their own. You do you. But I sold all my GPUs, all my good ones at least. All right. So what makes a good home lab, and why would you want a home lab? Who here in the chat is home labbing? Oh wait. Anybody? What do you guys got going on for your little like infrastructure? So when I think of a home lab, I got into home labbing because I enjoy the data center aspect of it. Where essentially you're building a data center at your house and you get to run it soup to nuts. Techman Ty's got a home lab. Hell yeah, buddy. So we can look at this. It's funny, I kind of looked at it like an OSI layer, but not really. So we've got 10 layers of home lab. That'd make a good video title. 10 layers of home lab. We've got We've got a physical layer, so that's like power, space, cooling, cabling, racks, right? Can I type on here? I can't type on this? That's not going to be fun to do with a mouse. That's not going to be fun to do with a mouse. Let me see if I can get this other whiteboard up. Do I have... There's a Windows whiteboard, right? I don't have to download it. I do have to download it. We'll just pick up where we left off. Okay. So we've got our layer 1, which is a physical layer. Again, power and location, like space. Your racks, your cooling, your cabling, all that stuff. You've got another layer that your layer 2 is going to be compute. So these are servers, these are mini PCs, these are Raspberry Pis. Virtualization hosts, again, servers, whether it's HyperV or ESXi or Proxmox or XCPNG or whatever it is. Nodes would be considered compute layer 2. VMs, containers, right? So all that is going to be... sorry. All that is going to be compute layers. And then we've got layer 3, which is your storage. This is so hard. Okay. So we've got our storage layer here. So this is like hard drives, USBs, spinning disk, SSDs, backups, on-prem, off-prem backups, cloud backups. You've your RAID pools, your ZFS, redundancy. Whatever it might be, high availability, all those things, and why RAID is not a backup. We've got fourth layer, which is networking. Can I move the... I'm going to run out of whiteboard space. That sucks. So our networking layer is like routers, firewalls, switches, NICs, access points, Wi-Fi, your VLANs, your DNS, your DHCP, all of those things. Pi-hole, AdGuard, whatever it might be. I'd call that our network layer, right? And correct me, disagree, say I'm right, say I'm wrong. Come on, guys, interact. Give me some feedback here. Layer 5. I am not an artist, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. Is gonna. So she said. Is our virtualization layer. So that's where our hypervisors, our container engines are going to be. Our VM orchestration tools or container orchestration. Infrastructure as code, so like Ansible, or snapshots and templates that we rinse and repeat. Right, that's what I would consider our virtualization and orchestration layer. I'm gonna run out of colors too. We're gonna move this over here. As 6 is gonna be your app layer and services layer. Again, these are all layers to a home lab. For anybody just joining, smash that thumbs up and share the stream with your friends and stuff. Get some more people in here. So app layer is like your self-hosting, right? So your Nextcloud, your Grafana for monitoring or whatever it might be. Your backups, so Veeam or Replicati or Duplicati, whatever it is. Nginx, your proxy manager, dashboards, whatever you're running on your app layer, right? That's in services that maybe you use these services, you know, in the world, but you're hosting them locally. So instead of using somebody else's clouding, you're clouding. It's clouding. You're using your own services. Pick another color. Layer 7 is your security layer and access layer, right? It's horrible. Let's remake that C. Oh, that's a pretty C. That's a pretty C. So she said. So your VPNs and networking, your user management, whether it's like Fismo roles or Active Directory or anything like that, as far as like identity management or users in your network. Firewall rules would be a good one here. Your authentication, SSO, OAuth, Authentic, SSL and certificates would live here, right? Cloudflare, any kind of encryption that you've got in and out. Let's see, did I run out of? I think I ran out of colors already. This isn't the best whiteboarding app, is it? I'll have to try a different one next time. Layer 8 could be your monitoring, right? So that's like your logging stacks, again, like a Grafana, maybe back that with Prometheus or notifications through Telegram, like Telegram bots. Power usage tracking could go here as well. So NUT or power meters or smart plugs, things like that could be considered that monitoring or telemetry layer in your home lab. Let's see, and there could be one more here. Layer 9 is your automation and development layer. I am not heavy into this. I am not a developer. I'm no Retro Mike. I'm not a developer. Not big into automation with things like Ansible or webhooks and API calls. Home Assistant. I want to get into Home Assistant, but like I don't have smart shit in my house to automate and group with. I guess I mean it. So I stood up a Home Assistant primary server, and it's stupid easy. It's like a Docker image you just deploy, and there it is. You're running Home Assistant. Now you've got a smart home hub, and you can tie that to all kinds of things like tablets. I've got a. Hold on. I've got a giant tablet. I could make that like a home freaking kiosk that lives in the kitchen or in the living room, and it like has monitors and dashboards and graphs and charts and shit on it. And I just don't do it. I haven't done it yet. I think it'd be really cool, even if it's down here in the studio or in the office. And I got it all set up and pushed over to that. I think that would be pretty cool. But I'm just not. I don't have the drive for that yet. I really want to, but it's like, I don't know. That's something like that. I don't know. It'd be cool to have a smart home like that. It's just, I'm not there yet. I'm not the automation captain, so to speak. I mean, I can run cron jobs. Sure, I can do rsync or set up, backups on a schedule, right? But when it comes to things like Ansible, where I can just like push a script out there, right? You are like missing 2 layers. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Black Hat team. Absolutely. Thanks for joining, by the way. Smart plugs are great to save power buttons. Absolutely. I agree. I think they definitely have their place. And then the final layer here, let's find a color we don't have too much of, is, so layer 10 is actually the human layer, kind of like layer 8 on the OSI model, right? No matter how fancy of a home lab you have, or what your day job is, or how much automation you put in place, you're the single point of failure. So, you know, keeping documentation and using labeling, your color coordinating and naming schemes, or really kind of like saying this, like at work, right? We have document repositories so that if I hate to say get hit by a bus, I prefer the win the lottery scenario, or what I've been saying lately is Bitcoin goes to the moon, you're never going to see me again, I'll be on my own private island. That's not true. But yeah, you know, what happens if you get hit by a bus, and you know, people that are relying on your network, whether it's your family or your friends or your work or whatever, things like that. No, Techman Ty. So that was that would be considered the physical layer. You're right. So physical infrastructure is layer 1. That's your power, your rack, you know, your cooling, your cabling, all of your space where all the things go. Your MDF and your IDFs. It's funny. I've got like I was talking to family and friends, and we were talking about all the, you know, tech shit that I do. Like, I've got an MDF. I call it an MDF basically, or my data center in the basement. And then I've got on the other side of the basement a couple of switches that are pushing out networking to that side of the house, and I call that my IDF. And it's like, yeah, that's not really it, but yeah, the prompt layer mixed in the storage layer. That's deep in the storage layer. Absolutely. So it's funny. I did this YouTube video recently. Let's see, how many people are still here? Have I lost everyone? Down to 19 viewers and 16 likes. Thanks for sticking around, nerds. You're in good company. This keeps not going live. We'll just leave that alone. So I did a video. Imagine that, a YouTuber did a video. I did a video on entry level or essentials to home labs under $100, and it did really well actually. And I thought that was great. You know, people seeing and getting into it, and kind of learning it for yourself, right? Like, why would you want a home lab? Can anyone answer that? Why do you have a home lab? Why would you want to do this? Not Too Techie says, I too am missing the automation part. Even dabbled with HA or high availability, but couldn't get too much into it due to my myriad of choices and them not all working with each other. That's a really good point. Really, really good point. You got to be able to make the things talk to the things, right? And that's part of the hard part. With AI now, you can really, like, dude, I lean on ChatGPT and Claude like crazy when I'm troubleshooting, whether it's, you know, day job or, you know, shit here in the home lab area, and I'm trying to get something to work. AI is perfect for that. Here for the Bang Bang cameos and the kitties. Okay. I want to hear how to make money, not nerd out like us. Well, you can make money with knowledge. You can learn how to stand up and manage a home lab, and then take that information into a systems admin role and make 120 grand a year. That's a lot more than you're going to make mining Bitcoin or shit coins, or, you know, complain about Delifin going subscription based and rugging. I'm not bitter. Not at all. HA was, home assistant. I'm sorry. I thought you meant high availability. But yeah, I got you. Yeah. So I got into home labbing because I like to tinker. I like to learn how to do new things. And there's so much that you can learn about technology and essentially data center management. You're managing your own little data center in your basement or in, you know, the closet under the stairs, which can translate into a career in IT. I kind of did that backwards though, because I got into IT before I started getting into things like this. Getting into it, it interested me, and I'm like, hey, let's freaking do this. So of you guys that have home labs, what are you using for your physical layer? As far as like, you know, rack space and cooling or airflow or anything like that. Not Too Techie says, tinkering and learning was what got me started. Lean a lot towards the security side of it all. That's excellent. And a great career to get into right now. Cybersecurity is like, you can make bank doing cyber. It's funny, you see like TikToks or memes of what I thought cyber was all about. And they're like, and then what cyber really is about. And it's sitting on Teams meetings, talking about incident response and, you know, unpacking what happened. You're not like so like attacking and then, you know, defending at the same time. It's funny when you actually get into it and see what it's all about. Techman Ty says, I like the separation. My wife works from home. I test a lot of stuff. I have streaming stuff separate from local too. LAN work, IoT, mining, streaming, VM, data archive machines, all VLAN from each other. Excellent. Trunk VLANs over multiple access points. Yeah, or a mug, I bet. Leveraging ESXi free on Intel NUCs. That's an excellent way to get into it too. Broadcom is really making it difficult to be a VMware, you know, cheerleader or enthusiast these days. They've just fucked up so much shit, and they're really out for the money. I get it. They're investors. They're VC backed, whatever it might be, and we all got bills to pay. But like, destroying VMUG was like the last straw. That was horrible. I was done with VMware personally after that. You kind of gotta be in it if you're in hosting, in your like customer hosting and stuff. But there's getting to be other options. Chuck Danger says, you mean cyber isn't working in the dark with flashlight glasses doing nefarious things? Sometimes, you know, if you, depending on where your cyber office is, yeah. You forgot to pay the bills, you got to have the lights on, you know. I have a filter in wall with an AC Infinity T8 hooked to that with 2 register vents. Air recirculates the room. Oh, cool. Temp's not bad since octominers are off. Yeah, that mining makes things so difficult, especially if they're in the same area. It's like, it really makes things difficult. Okay, what about the compute layer? What are you guys using for compute? Like, I've got my primary server, right? So it's a Ryzen 9 5900X, and it might be a 5950. No, I think it's a 5900X. Anyway, with 128 gigs of DDR4, I've got a couple of quad port NIC cards in it. I just got a 10 gig SFP card I'm going to throw in there for the core backbone. And yeah, it's running Proxmox. Got it backed up to Synology. And one thing I haven't done yet is the PBS, Proxmox backup server. I really want to try that and try to just back up the whole thing from one instance to another, right? It should be pretty easy as far as like setting it up, getting it going, especially on a multi-gig network. It should run pretty quickly. But I haven't got into it yet. What about you guys? What are you guys using for like your primary host? For VMs, maybe for crypto wallet VMs, I've got a bunch of crypto wallets on that box, and this is what I really love about virtualization is like you have so much control. So I got all these VMs for crypto wallets, and I just turn them on when I need to use it. Like they're always powered off, and when I turn it on, I've got the network connection turned off as well. So if I just want to get in and like check balances or something, I turn it, I power on the VM, I make a network connection, and it syncs with the chain, and it shows me where I'm at. Or if I want to move things around, whatever, but it's offline. So it reduces that attack surface because it's not even online. It's not powered on. There's no way to get to it. Not Too Techie says, yeah, I need to do the backup server as well. Kind of bad about it. Yeah. Well, I mean, realistically, like what I did for the longest time, and I do it with my workstations, is I use Veeam. But the like the servers and the VMs and all that stuff, I used Veeam on it as well. You can go, I mean, if you've got a drive mapped through the host, like an external drive, I think I did a video on that back when I was in Georgia. You can use that as a backup drive basically, and just use Veeam replication. You do your one big your backup, and then you do incrementals, and you've got like a rolling 5-day retention. Hell yeah. Unless it's Cellcore. Yeah. I don't have a Cellcore wallet anymore. I've abandoned the one that got hacked. So it left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not risking it. I didn't really have much on there anyway. The majority of the value on there was Flux. Words are hard. Was Flux, and it that's what got drained. Even I had like $200 in Bitcoin on there, and it didn't go anywhere. So either way, Techman Ty says I'm the only one that uses VirtualBox. No, VirtualBox has its place. Kind of like is that VMware Workstation? It's the same kind of thing, where you've got a virtualization layer on top of your primary OS. HyperV is another one of those. I would store Flux on SSP. If I were to hold Flux, it would be on SSP. Just because it's multi-factor or multi-sig, not multi-factor, multi-sig. So we've got two authentication pieces where you approve on the wallet and then you approve on the app, and they can't. It's safer. That's where I would keep Flux. Let's see. Moving on. Storage layer. So on storage and stuff, Max is here. Great, we can finally start over. About time you showed up, buddy. So storage layer, I haven't got into ZFS storage yet. As I understand it, it's kind of like RAID, but in a software format, and allows for like deduplication, I guess. So essentially the same data can't be written twice. I don't know. I could be way off on that, but all of my storage for the most part is RAID, as far as like at the physical drive level, I guess. And then, yeah, again, and then depending on what it is. So like, I've got a 2-bay Synology NAS that's running in RAID 1. Why would I put it in RAID 0? I've got a 6-bay, technically it's 7-bay, but 6-bay, it's 6 bays. I've got 4 10-terabyte drives in the Zima Cube, and that's in RAID 5. And then I've got 2 1-terabyte SSDs, SATA SSDs for the other 2 slots in RAID 1. So they're, again, mirrored. A little bit of redundancy there. It's not a backup. It is redundancy. And it's really just meant for drive failures. What are you guys using for storage? Like where all your data lives on raw storage, all the way to high speed and backups and stuff. What's everybody using for your backups? We'll start there. Not too tech. He just said doesn't have a backup server yet. I'm using the onboard, the built-in backups in Proxmox. I'm also using Veeam in Proxmox. I'm using Veeam on my workstations that I've got around here. And caching layers in storage. Makes sense in some applications. The majority of the stuff that I would be doing in the home lab, probably not. That's just me. What is layer 4? What were we saying here? Network layer. So this is where we'd see routers and firewalls and switches and access points. Your VLANs could live in this space, right? DNS. So as you scale, your network matters more, I think. Like when I first got into this, or when I was first getting into and understanding, holy shit, networking and stuff. It was a flat network. It was all on a single subnet, and it just ran. Fast forward to you get a router with some software-defined networking, like in the Ubiquity series. You're able to create different VLANs and different subnets and create different SSIDs for different reasons. Yes, set up those VLANs, separate out your network. Absolutely. It gets noisy quickly. Like I didn't realize how, especially when I moved here, because when I lived in Georgia, I lived in the woods. I literally was backed up to 42 acres of woods, which was great for a shooting range. But for you didn't see other SSIDs. I think I saw one from my closest neighbor. But here, like if I looked on my phone at Wi-Fi, it's so saturated, right? It gets so noisy, and if you run out of IP addresses pretty quickly when you start getting into this stuff, right? Northern Crypto and Tech, what's going on, man? So, and then from there, you will regret not documenting your network right. Like if you don't label your VLANs and your IPs in your network controller, whatever you use, I'm not a fan of Ubiquity. It's a great product, but damn, they're proud of it. They're fucking proud of it. Ubiquity is the poor man Meraki. That is a great way to put it. Although, at least in Ubiquity, if you don't license one device, your entire network doesn't go down like Meraki's. And that's it. Oh man, that's another big pain point in typical like enterprising and networking and stuff. Is that you've got licensing to deal with, and Meraki is an excellent excellent example. Northern Crypto and Tech, you're getting married tomorrow. Congratulations and condolences. Don't do it. Run away now. Oh, hi. Anyway, congratulations, man. That's great. Too clear, Pearl Rival. Yeah, it is a crime. It is an absolute crime. There was a lot of freedom at the bunker back in Georgia, not so much out here. A lot of it has to do with where I'm at. The state hates freedom. That's just me. And labeling, not just your network. Where's my dog barking? There's no one at the front door. Shut up, dog. Yeah, Chuck Danger says I set up all my VAST rigs not on a VLAN, and now it's a mess trying to remote in to do maintenance. Well, think about this. So, especially in AI, not so much as in crypto because it doesn't use a lot of bandwidth, but in AI, if you set up a VLAN for your AI rigs, your AI machines, your VAST, your Salads, your whatever, you can limit bandwidth, I guess is what I'm getting at. So if you've got it all on a flat network and everything's on the same IP scheme, your AI machines could be going full blast and somebody's really using that bandwidth, and it slows down everything else in the network. So you create a VLAN that's, you know, a .2 or a .20 or a whatever, and you can limit its upload and download speeds and its bandwidth saturation so that you know that is sliced out in your network specifically for that use case. And then the rest of your network can carry on as usual. You're streaming videos from like a Plex server or JellyFin. You know, it can all be as free as it needs to be, while the rest of the things in your network are eating up that bandwidth, you know? After 16 years, it won't change much. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at it. My self-hosted AI lives on VLAN 666. Rodney, that's great. That's great, Rodney. And you don't necessarily need a software-defined network, right? You don't need a Ubiquiti dream machine to make it all happen. One, because you can put the cloud controller on a virtual machine in your network if you really wanted to run it that way. But you can even have just managed switches that you can log into and manage the port density or the port allocation if you want to assign VLANs to ports, right? If you want to turn on or off PoE on ports, you know, that comes in handy so you're not burning up cameras or something if you've got them, or if you don't have cameras and you've got other devices plugged into it and it's pushing power over Ethernet. Versus dumb switches. I mean, I've got a 2.5 gig dumb switch right here in the office, right down here, that's powering 5 machines in this room. No, 4 machines. That was on a different switch. But that's okay, because the port that the dumb switch is tied to is set at a VLAN. So everything downstream from that port is on that subnet, right? DJ Mines, what's up, buddy? So yeah, guys, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Definitely give it a thumbs up, share, retweet, all that stuff. We're talking a little bit about crypto tonight, but really I'm talking about tech. I'm talking about home labs. I'm talking about building a data center in your basement and what that looks like and why somebody would want to do that. So definitely chime in. I'd love to hear your inputs on all of this stuff. I think it's fun. I think it's important to learn about this, specifically to keep you and your users. When I say your users, you know, it could be your family members that are using the internet at home and using some of these services that you stand up at home, whether it's like single sign-on or authentication into your own network or home, home assistant. You got smart things all over your house that are, if you've got it all controlled from an app and you lose your phone, you know, it could be a real pain in the ass to get back to it. Especially if that app is not a cloud app. It's not an app that you get from the Google Store or the App Store. It's an app that comes with the device or something that needs a central server or whatnot. Max, hit live, buddy. You are way behind, dude. Anyway, let's see. So Techman Ty says, I gave everything static reserved IP addresses and VLANs so I can make shortcuts and connect to stuff easily. Excellent idea. You know what? You could take that a step further too. So if you ran something like Nginx, right? So you've got a self-hosted proxy server, essentially is what that is. You can create like your own .local or .lan or, you know, .ti or whatever to be within your network so that you can say this, you know, if you name your rigs, that's Lucy and that's Betty and that's Susie. Damn, Susie's looking sexy with those 34090s, right? You can go to susie.tai in your browser when you're in your network, or use a VPN from the primary IP in your network to the LAN that you have Susie living on, and remote to it just by typing, you know, the rig name into your URL browser, instead of remembering, you know, 10.2.2.50 or 192.168.4.15, whatever, right? Or having to go back to your controller and figuring out what all these IP addresses are. You know, you name the machines a certain way so that you know that you can get to them easily and stuff. But that also comes down to labeling. I mean, in my recent Homelab video, the number 2 item that I said is a must-have for any Homelab is a label maker. Like, all of my machines have their static IP address on a label on the front of the machine. So if it starts screaming or smoking from the back or something happens, I know I can just dial into that IP address directly and manage the machine. I know what I'm looking for. Let's see. Chuck Danger says, I have an Omada router, just never got around to setting it up properly. Omada is really easy to manage. It's a lot like Ubiquiti. Holy shit. Like, I'm very surprised that TP-Link hasn't been sued by Ubiquiti because of how similar it is, realistically. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's do this. So moving on, we're at layer 5, virtualization layer. So, like, my preferred hypervisor is Proxmox. It's free, it's easy, documentation is everywhere. You can ask ChatGPT anything about it, and it knows its way around it. You can set up anything in shell. It runs on Bash, so I think it's Debian underneath. So it's just makes sense, right? HyperV, it works. It's okay, I guess. It has its place. I'll put it there. It has its place. I did a whole series on HyperV versus VMware. I think I did a whole series on HyperV, how to stand up HyperV, how to set up VMs in HyperV, how to back up and restore in HyperV. And it just made me like it less. Like, it's just so, I don't know, something about hypervisor in Windows just rubs me wrong. I don't get it. ESXi was a really good hypervisor, and now they got it free again. I think you got to jump through some hoops and like sign into things, and you only get it free for so many this, that, and the others, and you have to tie the ISO back to an account when you get it. It's weird. They made it free again. They freemiumed it, but barely. Broadcom has ruined VMware. Container engines. So Docker's really cool, especially on like those little mini PCs. You can keep Windows on it, put, you know, Docker desktop on there and run your containers and stuff, all from a mini PC. Like, you don't need servers to have a home lab. You can learn all of this stuff on a cheap Optiplex you get on eBay or at a garage sale. Like, the majority of all of the things on this list can be done on a single desktop. That's so cool. That's so cool. I'm sorry. This is my stream. I'm fucking nerding out about this shit. I don't care if I'm losing viewers. Actually, it kind of sucks that I'm losing viewers, but come on back, guys. Let's talk tech. What other things do you want to talk about then if you're not into the home lab space? Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it when it comes to virtualization. Anyway, moving on. The app layer. So this is where we can run self-hosted apps like Plex. You know, if you've got a large collection of movies and you want to, digitize them, scan them in and put them in Plex, and you can, and really I'm not much of a fan of Plex either, because they put a lot of things behind a paywall now. But Delifin is a Plex alternative, and it's open source, it's free. That's a great way to have your own, Netflix or whatever at home. And you got to have it hosted somewhere, and you've got to have fast enough networking and, bandwidth that can handle it. You got to have compute that can handle it. If you want it in 4K, you've got to have hardware that can transcode it. Things like that. We talked a little bit about Home Assistant. This is where Home Assistant would live, right? If you've got a house full of smart shit, smart gear, it's got to be controlled somehow, right? So that's what your Home Assistant's going to be used for. Yeah, Max says love the Homelab space. Me too. I really enjoy it. Does JellyFin have a free transcoder? What do you mean? I thought it was part of the app. Yes. Gemini says JellyFin does have a free transcoder. All of its features, including transcoding, are available without a subscription fee or hidden costs or anything like that. So yes, check it out. I think it's pretty cool. Monitoring. So Proxmox has a built-in app that you can essentially point, you install it on a separate machine like a Raspberry Pi or something, and point it to your cluster or to your Proxmox server or servers, and it'll tell you all of your compute resources and puts it all in these like little graphs and stuff. You can do the same thing with like Grafana or tie Prometheus to Uptime Kuma, I think is what it is, Uptime Kuma. So it'll like alert up, down, and then it does pretty much all of that. Nginx, I talked about that a little bit for proxy management, and then backup solutions, different backup solutions. So Borg, I've heard of that, but I've never used it. Has anybody used Borg? Techman Ty says, I was using MB, but they want $105 to lifetime license and transcode. Yeah, jump over to JellyFin. It's open source and free. Give it a shot, spin up a VM or a Docker container and point it to your media pool and give it a shot. Yes, Uptime Kuma. It tells you if it's, it's in the name. It tells you if there's uptime. If you've got up or down or issues, various monitoring types and whatnot through Uptime Kuma. Let's see. What was the next one on the list? Security layer, security and access layer. So this again is kind of what comes down to your VPNs. I've got a Tailscale setup that I fucking live here, man. I work from home. Barely do I ever leave the house. Like when I go to events, like when I went to Vegas, I set up Tailscale so that I could access my resources here when I'm away. But I didn't have time to do any of that, and I didn't really need to. Like all the footage and stuff, I had my MacBook with me and was able to manage all of my footage and whatnot there. Like I put it all on external drives. I brought lots of drives with me just so I had redundancy and backups and just in cases. But there's tons of different VPN services that you can host, you can manage and self-host, like WireGuard. Zero Tier, I think, is another one. Password Manager. Yes, that's a perfect example for this layer. We're talking about, you know, you don't necessarily want to lean heavily on the built-in password manager or LastPass. LastPass has been hacked multiple times. The Chrome or the Brave built-in password manager is super convenient, but if your machine is compromised or your session is compromised, they have everything. They have keys to all of your kingdoms, and it's as simple as that. It's all cached. So running and managing your own network manager, or fucking get a notebook, write that shit down. It's very inconvenient, but very secure. We're so used to trading convenience and privacy for an illusion of security, you know? Tinfoil hat. Wrong stream. This is not a tinfoil hat stream. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, this could be where you do SSO if you want to enable single sign-on or authentication with like OAuth or MFA. You can host your own MFA server to get into these services that you manage in your own network. Now, when you scale up, you know, if you do this for fun and it ends up turning into a career for you, you know, that's when, you know, you're going to end up using something like a Duo or Authenticator through Microsoft. Passly is another one. There's a billion freaking password managers or MFA managers. When you've got 100 users, that's going to be difficult to manage with a local self-hosted app, especially if they're in multiple locations. But if you understand how it works and you know the ins and outs of it, it makes things easier for you to manage in the long term. User management. Has anybody here set up their Homelab with users, with sign-in access to whatever it might be, whether you've got, you know, JellyFin that you're hosting, if you've got multiple users for that, if you've got Home Assistant, if you're running any kind of services in your home, do you have it set up for multiple users so that the kids want to sign in, the friends want to sign in, and other family members or whatever wants to sign in? Or is it just kind of wide open? Yeah, let me know. I'm curious. And what are you guys using for that? And then layer 8 is your monitoring and logging and telemetry. You got to know what's happening, and that's going to help you scale or troubleshoot, right? So things, again, like Grafana and it's another logging app, Graylog, will give you metrics and understanding of who's accessing what kind of resources are being used, where the compute is going, where the bandwidth is going. And that can be super important, especially when it comes to troubleshooting. Like, you know, do I have a network storm? What happened? And then alerting, of course, like setting up, you know, email alerts. That's important. Telegram bots. I haven't really got into that either. And I think it's because I have a bad taste in my mouth for Telegram. It's like one of those that you got to use when you're in the crypto space. And I mean, I guess it's convenient. I just haven't got into using Telegram bots to set up alerting and stuff. Techman Tai says one master login for RW. Is that read write? All archive is read only otherwise. I gotcha. 2720X, welcome, man. I did many years ago using Samba and Apache, just playing around with user access and permissions. Cool. Hey, it's nothing wrong with playing around and learning. That's how we learn, right? I learn by doing. Rodney says FIDO2 keys for everyone in the family. Really? How is that working out for you? Like, that's fantastic. I gotta say, that's fantastic. I've set up everybody with MFA, taught the kids early how to use multi-factor. I mean, you kind of got it. Nowadays, my kids are 15, 18, and 21 now. So them growing up with internet being a large part of their life, you teach them young the dangers of the internet, what not to do, how to stay safe, when to see something, say something, kind of thing, right? So teaching them, you know, good hygiene and good best practices, I guess, like, you know, you never use the same password twice, those kind of things, MFA, all of that. But I didn't go that far as FIDO keys. That's a interesting thing. Let me know how that worked out for you. What kind of trouble have you run into doing that? And how successful has it been? Inquiring minds want to know. What do we got here? We got 19 viewers. Man, thank you all for hanging around. Thank you all for nerding out with me today. We're not really talking crypto. We're not talking DPIN. We're not talking ASICs and Bitcoin and shit. Today, I'm nerding out over tech, and thank you all for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. Maybe we'll do a giveaway at the end of this, just because I love all you fuckers. Where were we? Where did I leave off? What were we talking about? Got me all sidetracked. Alerting. Alert fatigue is real. Alert fatigue is real. So make sure you've got your thresholds in place when you set up alerting, and you set up monitoring, when you set up, you know, any of this type of logging and telemetry to tell you what's going on, because getting pinged for every little thing that's going on in your system gets old, and you don't need to know all that data sometimes. One, it's typically logged. Two, those logs use storage. It's not much. It adds up, especially if it's on a router. If you've got logging living on your router, and you're using an out-of-the-box router, you don't have an OpenSense or a pfSense box that you've built with, you know, storage backend, and you've set up your automated offloading of logs nightly or weekly or whatever it turns out to be. Man, these routers, these, you know, plain Jane, like even consumer or prosumer routers, they only have so much storage built on them. And if you're logging and documenting every little thing that's going on, dude, that fills up really, really quick. Automatic beats, listening while I drive. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so on to number 9 now, automation and development, or DevOps. Like I said, I haven't got into this yet. I'd really like to. It's on the to-do list. I mean, I can schedule jobs with cron jobs, set up automatic backup scripts and run backup tools and things like that, so that I've got, you know, nightly incremental backups and weekly full backups, whatever it is. That's easy to do. Automating things like Ansible. Like, I built that. It's not in here, is it? It's not in here. Super 6C setup, which is 6 Raspberry Pi CM modules, CM modules, CM4 compute module. The Raspberry Pi 4, that's like itty bitty, and it has no has no I/O on it. It's meant to plug into something else and give the compute to the thing. So I'm sure you guys know what CM4s are. Anyway, so I've got this freaking Super 6C and installed all of these, installed Docker on it and run Docker Swarm, and I'm able to load balance services and set up high availability. So if I unplug one of the nodes, everything else keeps running. There's no downtime. It automatically migrates things back and forth between the other existing nodes so that everything stays working. But setting that up, I had to rinse repeat, because trying to roll out Ansible, it was like a whole freaking learning curve just trying to automate a learning curve. Like, so that's a pain point for me, or a learning opportunity for me, I guess, would be to learn more automation with Ansible or similar tools. Sorry, phone was going off. What other DevOps and automation tools are out there that you guys have used or prefer in your system? Something that I got, not recently, I think it was last year, I got it from a crypto vendor, were these IoT sensors that Nublia. You know, you're supposed to earn crypto by using their sensors, and I've got like humidity sensors and motion sensors and carbon dioxide, and I had to have a helium hotspot set up for it to all run on, and I never fucking set it up because the helium hotspot they sent me is a fucking garbage. But that's something else that I want to get interested in, or I want to get into, is like alerting with sensors, power management with sensors, and really having a better understanding at a more minute layer, right, or level. What are you guys using for stuff like that? Is there anything that you're using to keep an eye on, like humidity in the rack or in the MDF? Let me know. I want to know. I'm interested. And then, of course, the final layer is the human layer. You know, keep documentation and good notes, whether it's in like Google Docs. There's a couple of really cool self-hosted wikis that you can set up in, you know, a container, a Docker container, or on a VM. Oh, that's something else I really like about Proxmox is LXCs, or Linux containers. They're native, and you can just stand it up and essentially run it within Proxmox. So you don't have to have a Docker VM, and then in the VM is, you know, your Docker engine, and in there is where all of your containers live. It uses the same kernel. The LXC uses the same kernel as the host. So you've got these like super easy to stand up and manage containers. They're a little heavier than Docker or Kubernetes containers, but they're still super lightweight compared to a VM. There's no need to stand up a Linux VM or a Windows VM to run one, you know, service. Anyway, so you can run and host your own wiki where, you know, it can be indexable and searchable. So if you are trying to search for something, what was the IP address of this machine or whatever? I mean, you should be labeling things, but you can have all that in one place. And if you're sharing the environment with others, with a spouse or a sibling or a friend or whatever, Max says, I'm using Govee temp and humidity sensors, the Wi-Fi version. Nice. I'll have to check those out. Says, that's why I like Unraid. Just enable Docker and then launch Docker apps. No need to start a VM. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Same kind of thing in Proxmox. There's no need for a VM. You just got a container right there. It's not Docker. It's a Linux container. But yeah. Labeling, naming schemes, color coding. Just got to think about, like, if I were to step into this environment today and I knew nothing about it, where could I go? What am I going to need to know to pick up where the last guy left off? I can't tell you how many times at work, I work for a managed service provider, so think outsource IT. I can't tell you how many times at work we've had to step in and help clean up an environment because an IT director passed away, I mean, it's life. That happens. It sucks. But even, you know, the people under them don't have all of the information and all of the documentation and understand the network that, you know, the primary user has, that's tribal knowledge. And us as their IT company comes in and helps clear all that up. Well, what if you're in a similar scenario? You know, you've got all of this stuff running at home and something happens to you. What about the next guy that's going to come in and pick up, you know, where they left off, where you left off? How difficult is that going to be? I didn't see, who was that just subscribed? Whoever that was, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Geek Squad. Get. Anyway, what's yeah, I love Homelabs. I got another mini PC coming for a review, I think next week or the week after. I started, and a side note, as a content creator, you know, Max would appreciate this, and any of you other content creators out there or aspiring to be, I actually set up a calendar and marked days that I'm going to release videos. So I'm going to try it for a month. I'm going to try it for August. I want to try to release videos on Mondays and Thursdays and then go live on Fridays for YouTube. I've got some other projects outside of YouTube that I'm creating content for that I want to work on the weekends, on top of creating the content throughout the week. So hopefully this will help me hold to creating more videos and cool stuff. I got a new laser engraver that was sent to me to review. Crypto Pounder, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining. So I'm super excited about getting into that, and want to start playing with it. It's a very basic entry level diode laser that actually is on a XY axis, kind of like a 3D printer, but without the Z. Anyway, they sent it to me to review, and I've got it back there. The machine that I was using for my big laser died. It died. I had a mini PC, and it, like, the internal power supply on it or something just shit the bed. Like, you power it on, and it doesn't even get to post. It doesn't get to BIOS, nothing. It's just like powers on and blinks off, and powers on and blinks off. Haven't got into troubleshooting it. I don't really care. I just stood up another mini PC that I've had here that was sent to me. The E1, I think, is what it was. I stood that up, and I put Lightburn on it because I got a license. So I put Lightburn on it, and it's working. Max says, I'm trying to release a video a day for the month of August. Man, that's commitment. That is commitment. I can't do that. I can't do that. I commend you, and I really hope that you're able to do that. That's awesome, man. Good job. That's a lot of work. Hobbyist does that, you know. Panda does that. A lot of YouTubers do that. I'm going to try to commit to a couple days a week releasing videos. I want to release shorts as often as I can. I think those are easier to make, you know, because you just take your phone and you point it at a thing and you talk about it, and then you edit it and throw it up there. My videos, I spend way too much time and effort editing. Like, that's my problem. It's like I get into the analysis paralysis shit. Oh, what else? What else is going on? I've been going for almost an hour and a half. I still got shit to talk about. What other videos do I have coming up? Let's see. That video I did with the mic the other day. Again, it was a product that was sent to me. I need a new microphone. The one that I have, that lapel mic that I have all the time, like, it crapped out at Vegas, at BTC Vegas. Ever since then, it doesn't charge right. It's always been on the low end of audio spectrum. So like, it's really bassy. And I always have to pull the audio, put it into DaVinci, put it through an EQ, and then export it, and then merge it with the other footage. And it's like, it's extra steps that I have to take. So I'm trying to find a mic that's, I can just use. I don't have to put it through post. I can just use it, just pull it off and just use it. Or that I can tie into the camera and just use it. It doesn't sound like garbage. So I got 2 more mics here that I'm doing videos on. One I'm going to do next week, and one I'll do the week after that. So that'll fulfill my commitment to those vendors. Let's see, what else? What else do I have going on? I've got an AI video that I've been trying to work on slowly but surely. It's gonna be pretty good, I think. And again, when I think a video is good, it doesn't do so good. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Spit out some topics. Let's find some things to talk about here, guys. I can jump into the news. I've got some news articles pulled up, but it's pretty much the same shit. It's like this AI OEM is going past that AI OEM, is a little bit better, is a little bit worse, and we're stealing their engineers and they're stealing their engineers. It's like the same shit every day. Do you have a suggestion for an entry-level 3D printer? You know, at the moment, I don't, because I haven't been 3D printing with anything but an Ender 3 since 2021. I've got 10 of them left. 10 Ender 3s and a CR10 left. And I'm pretty much done with it. Like, 3D printing to me is not like it used to be. That's my ADHD talking. Nothing wrong with 3D printing. But being the sole worker in a 3D print farm really fucked me up on 3D printing. Like, it made me not enjoy it anymore. I don't enjoy designing. I don't enjoy printing. I don't enjoy fulfilling orders. It's just not the same. And ever since then, there have been a lot of new and newer 3D printers that have come out. I mean, Bamboo Labs is, you know, the 800-pound gorilla. Hell, I don't even know the name of a bunch of them off the top of my head. Creality obviously still makes 3D printers. Prusa is still really big in the game. And then SLA printers. I've never got into resin printing. I've always wanted to, but it's like such a hassle. Such more of a hassle than just FDM printing, because there's a lot of precautions you have to take. Not just with the material specifically, with the resin specifically. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, I unfortunately I don't know. Like I said, I've only used Creality Ender 3s, V1 or V2 for years. And I'm pretty much done with them. Sucks. Good way to ruin a good thing. I should have zigged when I zagged. Back when I was really making it a business, instead of going all in and buying more printers and buying a shed to put the printers in and stuff. I should have found a business partner to go in with me and then plan out how we would expand and grow that business. But instead, I did it alone, and it sucked because I burned myself out for it. Anycubic? Yes, Anycubic has another multicolor printer that I was looking at buying because they were like $300 or $350. Really cheap. But I don't really have anywhere to put it. And like I said, I'm kind of burnt out on 3D printing. I want to get more time on my laser engraver. I've got a fucking $3,000 fiber laser back there that I barely use. And I want to learn how to engrave on firearms. I think that'd be so cool to make freaking custom Glock slides, like a freaking Dogecoin Glock slide. That would be amazing. And it would sell like hotcakes. And just like 3D printing. So this was the really cool part about 3D printing. I could make a design, I could make a thing or modify a thing, print it once, take pictures of it, use it, and then put it online. And when it sells, I hit print again. I don't have to hold inventory. I just hold the material, and I can create as many models as I want. And when they sell, I hit print, which was great until it wasn't. Like I said, I think I burned myself out on that. But same kind of thing with laser engraving. If I can take the time to learn the settings to do it, create templates, do it a few times, buy some like cheap slides on eBay, or, you know, there's a lot of different providers that'll sell, you know, Glock slides, and it's not illegal to hold them. They're not serialized items. And then do all kinds of cool shit. I could do a Dragon Ball Z Glock slide. I could do a Pokemon Glock slide. That's what I'll do. I'll do a Pokemon Glock slide for Jump Change. I think he'd love it. But I just, again, I've got to sit down and do it. Anyway. Where's my mouse? Take another look at the market while we're here. Still at 113. We've gone up a little bit. It was what? 113,400 when we started. We're up to 600. I think if we keep going, it'll go back up to 120. Yeah, me either. He's gone up a little bit too. Pax Gold, Tether Gold, B&B. That's interesting to see. You sort by price instead of by market cap. What are the top movers today? Pudgy Penguins. Who's cashing out on Pudgy Penguins? Toncoin, Tether Gold. Yeah, it was not a good day in the market today in crypto. Onflux is down 10 points. Pi, Hyperliquid's down 8. Fartcoin is down 5 points. Oh no! Not the Fartcoin. What about for the week? Ton's up for the week. Onflux, I guess, is up for the week, even though they're down for the day. PayPal USD. Really? I didn't see that. And the largest loser this week is Fartcoin. Lovely. And Bonk right behind it. Yeah, that's nice. Is that okay in Chirac? It is. It is okay in Chirac. It's one of those Fight Club things, right? First rule. No, but realistically, it doesn't have a serial number, so you don't have to log it, so you don't need an FFL. So technically, you're not allowed to hold someone's firearm overnight without an FFL, or without them in the vicinity without an FFL. So if it came down to it, I wouldn't do it here at my house, but if I had a shop, I could have people come to a shop, and they stay here, they bring their gun, I laser engrave it and charge them for it. I don't need an FFL then, because it's not kept overnight. They're still in the vicinity. They're in the building, and yeah, that's that. So that's how I understand it, at least. Yeah, Max is stepping it up. 2 videos in a row, buddy. I hope you stick to it, man. I really do. That's always been my struggle, is consistency on videos. I did it 30 coins in 30 days. A different coin every day. That was fucking pulling my hair out too. And that was when I had 30-something GPUs. Have to go into Hive on, these different rigs and change all the overclocks and voltage settings and things on all of these different rigs in Hive, just so that I can mine a different coin every day for an entire month. Hey, I got good content out of it. Why not? Yeah. So what kind of video? What's your next video, Max? Come on. Let us know. Tell us what. Give a leak of your next video, buddy. Oh man, I hope you got those planned out. Planning on doing a video a day in August. Originally planned 8 for the month and just decided to go big. Hell yeah, that's big. That is definitely big. That's wonderful. Tangem, where it's NFC wallets to an app. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that one. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash says I should start a channel, but I've got nothing to talk about. People see my name and they think it's a cookie. Not necessarily. We'll do one on Home Assistant this weekend. Hell yeah, dude. I want to see that one. I'd like to see it. Definitely, definitely. What do I have coming up? I should really copy my calendar, and they need to ship it to me. And let's look at what that's gonna. But we've got. I'd be still making $10 a day. After power. It's gonna be cool, man. That's gonna be great. I'm excited about this one. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. And it takes that new plug. So I gotta buy the new plug. That was weird. What was weird? It'll show up in the next, I don't even know, eventually. What pool should I put it on? And I can get paid out in Bitcoin and just make $10 a day in Bitcoin or more. Merge mining all of these. Like they've got what, a 2% fee at NiceHash? God, I haven't used them in forever. No, I don't want to log into NiceHash. Left and now I'm back. Am I cutting out? I mean, bitrate is lower. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's gonna break. Yep, I don't even know. Maybe I can do it over here. Nope. Not that. I see it buffering too. That sucks, guys. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that we should just. Well, anyway, so thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I got my all set up a different VLAN, and we'll see if we can figure out this. I don't normally have these issues, so she said. Anyway.